was not called. And then Cunningham gets into the face of Dejanay Carrington.
To stop acting like somebody that's speaking up on behalf of girls, like a Sophie Cunningham, like a Riley Gaines, are scourges of the earth. That is an irresponsible thing to do. You are a coach for a female basketball team.
The WNBA fined her $1,000 but said nothing about that white privilege post, while Stephanie White claimed she missed the Cunningham clothesline in real time. A flagrant 2 ejection right there in her own game. Then Stephen A. Smith looked straight into the camera and delivered the line that has gone everywhere since. He asked, "How are you the head coach and you did not see the play?" It is your job to watch the game. So how did you not see that play? 4 days later, Carrington went out against the Golden State Valkyries and hit 2 more players above the neck. Yet the excuse remains, I did not see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. And I believe the stuff that is trying to hijack our league will not win. Love is going to win, grace will win, humility will win, and kindness will win. I stand by them, and I will always stand by them, and everybody else can go to hell. 0 ejection, 0 flagrant. And Stephen A. Smith is completely done being measured about it. When White said post-game that she did not see the Cunningham foul in real time and could not comment, Smith went scorched earth. How are you the head coach and you did not even see the play? It is your job to watch the game. How did you miss the play? We go high, love, grace, and humility will win. And then you tell everybody they can go to hell. Do you really think that is going to work for you, Coach White? You think that is going to work? The reality of the situation is that none of that is going to win if it is left to you, Stephanie White, because you are not handling this right. You are playing right into their hands. Right into their hands. White's post-game defense was completely impossible to support from the very moment she said it. She actually told reporters she did not believe Carrington intentionally went out there to hit Cunningham across the neck the way she did. And then she praised Carrington's highly competitive style, saying one of the things about her is that she is going to play her butt off. The same Stephanie White who coached Carrington with the Connecticut Sunday. Yeah, I mean, look, it was definitely a hard foul, but I do not think Dejanay intentionally went out to catch her across the neck like she did. But it did happen, and I thought the officials made the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she is going to play her butt off. She is always going to compete. Nobody is going to easily walk in for a layup. So at the end of the day, I do not oppose a hard foul. But I also do not think that she intentionally went for the opponent's neck. This is the same Stephanie White whose post-game defense of an opponent who left her own player with a bloody lip became the second biggest story of the week. Smith saw the issue immediately, a head coach with her own player on the floor from a flagrant 2 ejection, and her answer at the podium was that she did not see it, and the player just plays hard.
Let me take a walk with me. There is craziness going on in the WNBA. Dejanay Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this. She fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouled her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now, here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. Dejanay, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not.
If there was ever any evidence of there being white privilege, this was certainly not it. And then Smith went somewhere nobody expected. He turned to Caitlin Clark's post-game defense of Stephanie White. He looked at Clark's emotional statement that she told White before the game there was no way they were losing this game for her, and delivered his thoughts directly. Congratulations. What a statement that says absolutely positively nothing. See, if this were the men's side, we would not only be asking, we would be demanding that people actually speak up, put it where the goats can get it, and get down to the bare bones about what is really, really, really going on here. Instead of dancing around the major issues, we should be embracing the reality of this highly tense situation that the WNBA and especially you as the coach of the Indiana Fever are involved in. There are literally folks in Indiana at a home game booing you. You are not the road team. You are the home team. You are the home coach, and they are booing you. And Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark can speak up for you all they want to, just like they did and just like they should have. Stephen A. Smith wanted Clark to say more about Carrington, more about that white privilege post, and more about what the league has repeatedly failed to do all season. And Clark being her usual highly professional self, said what she always says: let the governing bodies handle it. Focus on basketball. That is for the league to figure out. And Smith pushed back on that exact standard for the first time all season. The first tough spot Stephanie is stuck in is that she knows DeJohnai is a good person, but now she is coaching players who are likely taking money from the Heritage Foundation, dealing with a large MAGA racist fan base, and they did not like that she defended DeJohnai. I take personally any suggestions that I do not 100% always have my players back. Men should not play sports against women. I am not going to get into all the crap that is going on out here in the world today. And look, if anybody actually thinks that, I think they are just stupid. And right now, the most credible voice in sports media and the single most important player in women's basketball are no longer on the same page. And that tells you everything about how serious this situation has actually become. And that is when Smith delivered the sentence that has been repeated on literally every single platform of sports media since he said it, focusing on the WNBA's complete failure to define its own policies while complaining about politicization. The time has come for folks to stop whining about how all of this stuff is being politicized and actually do something about it so it cannot be politicized. Either do something or just suck it up. You do not have a choice other than those two. Do something or suck it up. That is Stephen A. Smith's final, complete verdict on the WNBA's 2026 season in one sentence. Sophie Cunningham was brutally fouled right in the face during today's game, and the offending player DeJohnai Carrington was ejected after the officials ruled her hit was a flagrant 2. But right after the ejection, Carrington posted online, white privilege, on social media, and she tagged the Indiana Fever. This on-court drama follows weeks of heavy backlash and protest against Cunningham for speaking out against including transgender athletes in the WNBA. That white privilege post, do something or suck it up. That trans eligibility policy, do something or suck it up. Carrington hitting 3 players in the face in 4 days, do something or suck it up. The league has been choosing option 2 all season long, and the consequences of option 2 have finally arrived in the form of a formal Florida Attorney General warning, a $1,000 fine that changed absolutely nobody's behavior, and a player who is now hitting Valkyrie's opponents above the neck 4 days after a flagrant 2 ejection without additional discipline. I am just so completely sick of the Indiana Fever and Sophie Cunningham. I really, really mean it. And I have actually been trying to just keep my mouth shut because the rabbit-ass, racist-ass fan base makes it completely insufferable to actually talk about basketball with people. One, who actually know the game, who used to play the game, and understand that sometimes things just happen in the game. DeJohnai got ejected in the first quarter of the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever matchup. Sophie Cunningham went up for a layup, and DeJohnai went to block it, right? She was flying in the air when she went to smack it, missed the ball, and hit Sophie's head. Look, I have not played basketball since junior high, but that has happened to me before. Where I am at now with it is simple. Everything Sophie Cunningham does in the game is for social media. Everything she does in that game is for social media or a response, no matter what. Why is that? Because she is just a mid-ass player in this entire league. And again, yes, I am a person who has not played basketball since junior high, but I can tell you she is a mid player in this league. Just look at her stats. She clearly understands that her opportunity lies in being a social media clip, a viral soundbite, and she will do that by any means. Because at this point, that is what is making her off-court money. What really irritates me, first of all, is DeJohnai getting that flagrant 2. I do not think that it should have been a flagrant 2 because when you talk about intent to hurt, I just do not think there was any intent to hurt. When you go up to block the ball, especially on a layup, sometimes that kind of stuff just happens. However, what I am going to talk about is the aftermath, Sophie getting up and getting right in DeJohnai's face. And you physically see DeJohnai telling her to stop. Just stop, stop, stop. With the public, the people who support Sophie Cunningham and the Fever, it results in such blatant racism and these constant social media attacks on absolutely any team and any player that is opposing the Fever, Sophie, or Caitlin Clark, and especially if they are black, it results in such blatant racism. Now, players are starting to speak out saying, I know if I'm playing the Fever, and specifically Sophie and Caitlin, leaving Lexi Hull out of this for a second, because we got pretty close last season, Lexi. Yeah, we were getting really close. So I will take her out of this equation now. But especially those two. The black players know that if anything goes down, even standard stuff that happens in a game, the kind of routine contact you always see on the court, they have racist attacks waiting online. Or even wilder, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer actually warned Carrington over that white privilege post after the Sophie Cunningham incident. Think about that. A sitting state attorney general warning a pro basketball player over a locker room social media post. That is exactly where the WNBA's institutional silence on Carrington's conduct has dragged this league. Stephen A. Smith addressed the attorney general's involvement. Honestly, if this had been a liberal or someone with a more progressive mind on this specific issue, who said the exact opposite of what Sophie Cunningham is saying, would the Florida Attorney General have taken that position? I do not think so, but who knows? A punch to the throat could kill someone, right? And the WNBA, the people running that league, if you are Dejanai Carrington and you lay someone out like that, I do not want to hear about a flagrant 2 and some weak fine. She should be suspended for the rest of the season. That is a fair question. You can question the Attorney General's political motivations, but that does not change what she posted. It does not change the flagrant 2 ejection. It does not change that August 23rd threat date or the fact that the WNBA fined Carrington $1,000 while staying silent on a racial post that turned a common basketball foul into a national political firestorm. The Attorney General stepped in because the league would not, and Stephen A. Smith said exactly what that means. The WNBA left the door wide open, and now they are shocked that people are walking right through it. People keep defending her, pushing this narrative that she is not actually a dirty player, but she makes these plays all the time. Just look at this clip of Dejanai Carrington, who is easily one of the dirtiest players in the league. Let us roll the tape. She literally used her long fingernails to scratch Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She has chased players down from behind multiple times, attempting that same wild swipe, hitting them in the head, and starting massive fights. She even pulled another girl's hair. Look at her falling in this next clip. It is a completely dirty play, and this has absolutely nothing to do with race. She has a long history of dirty plays. Then on Monday, Carrington hopped back online, claiming people were misrepresenting her white privilege post, only to get accused of massive gaslighting because of the timing and her complete lack of any real explanation. Carrington recently claimed the post had nothing to do with the incident, yet she never explained what it actually meant. She literally posted white privilege just 8 minutes after getting ejected for a flagrant 2, tagged the Indiana Fever, posted August 23rd, then went private after the backlash, then showed up to a Monday press conference claiming that brutal clothesline was not intentional, before jumping back on social media to say everyone misunderstood her. That is a flagrant 2 every single day of the week in both the NBA and WNBA. But things are really out of hand when the Attorney General of Florida is telling people that is why WNBA games are not played here. Because guess what? Attorney General James Uthmeyer warned the WNBA they know better than to bring their games to Florida, because he will gladly charge players with assault, or to be exact, assault and battery. That is coming straight from the Florida Attorney General. Yet she still has not explained what that post meant if it was not about the foul. Former NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho, commentator Tommy Lauren, and Stephen A. Smith all blasted the Sky Star for making this a race issue. You have voices from both sides of the aisle landing in the exact same spot. Pulling the race card after a flagrant 2 ejection on a breakaway is just not defensible, no matter your politics. That play deserved 2 flagrant fouls and an immediate ejection for Dejanai Carrington. One fan even warned that if the league does not step in, players will start policing themselves, leading to absolute chaos. Another fan chimed in, echoing a sentiment that is spreading everywhere now. Get this woman out of professional basketball. Look, there is definitely a real thing called pretty privilege. Just like there is white privilege and tall privilege, and we absolutely have to acknowledge that reality. And race plays a massive part in this. Because look at players like Brittany Griner. Why did she even have to go play overseas in Russia to pay her? All because they wouldn't pay her. Because they wouldn't pay her. Because they wouldn't pay her. But look, I am rooting for Caitlyn because I have been in that exact same seat before. I have walked down that road before, and I hope she kills it. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing things. And we have grown-ass men and women out here doing whatever they possibly can to try and make sure that does not happen. That is just the weirdest thing in the entire world, but it is what it is, and I am just glad that Caitlyn has a great head on her shoulders. One user on X captured the entire picture in a single sentence. She is the Draymond Green of the WNBA, and she will be hated and celebrated. She is never going to stop this type of play. Ex-players and coaches gas her up for it even more, especially when it is against white players. Take Jason Whitlock, who predicted months ago that Carrington would seriously injure someone if the WNBA did not act. He was back on the story immediately after the Valkyries game, and he was totally right about Cunningham. He is pointing at Xander Lassini and Hayes now, and the league still has not announced any additional discipline. Carrington claimed that it was never intentional. Her coach says she did not see it. The WNBA fined her $1,000, and the Florida Attorney General warned her. Smith basically said to do something or just suck it up. Regarding that white privilege comment, I would actually argue that this is black privilege, to be totally honest with you. Because her posting this white racist comment right after assaulting Sophie Cunningham on the court is actually black privilege. Because she knows the WNBA won't do a single thing of significance about the issue. And just imagine if the roles were completely reversed. If Sophie made a comment similar to this one, she would likely never play again. Oh, he turned his back on me. The scammer life is good. Did he seriously ruin your birthday, my friend? I hope not. What did he say? What did he say? You all should have broken something in this sir's car. Where is he? Seriously, you guys. This entire situation is crazy. And I had to really expose him in real time. Because honestly, I just do not know. I do not know why white people think they can get away with trying to just scare black people by saying, oh, I am going to call the police on you. Like, okay, but we did not do anything wrong here. So that is fine. Go ahead and call the police. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, living in the flesh, right here for you to see. He tried to kidnap us and take us somewhere. Look, now he is going to talk to our next Uber driver. Let us see how this actually goes. Wait, hold on. He just said something in another language to our next driver. What did he actually say? Sight? You dummy. He does not even speak that language. He actually speaks Spanish. He is a dumbass because our new driver speaks Spanish while this man was trying to speak Arabic. Clark said to focus on basketball, and Carrington hit 2 more players above the neck just 4 days later without receiving an ejection or a flagrant foul, while also getting a fan removed from the Chase Center on an unfounded complaint. The WNBA keeps choosing option 2, and option 2 is now being managed by a state attorney general because the league office simply will not manage the situation themselves. Is Stephen A. Smith's do something or suck it up verdict the most accurate summary of the WNBA's entire 2026 conduct crisis we have seen? And has Diggins Smith Carrington now proven beyond any reasonable doubt that a $1,000 fine is not a deterrent? Drop your thoughts in the comments.